Nande Kapsuchi, Dagi Junior Kibe Tonangi, Rola Venges Ange Roba Jo. Gedang Zogi Chuna Lai, Janjo Pado Dante Kapsuchi, Dagi Junior Kibe Tonangi, Rola Venges Ange Roba Jo. Twigi Jushin Medo Dran, Rirali Shini de Gembati, Sangi Shindo Minde Wai, Kami Tanda Shinla Juba Ju, Hidang Kuru Rana Mendala Kandiya Daya Hanbi. Yeah, please adjust your sitting posture according to 7 meditative postures of Vairocana. Think, all sentient beings have been my mothers. And all sentient beings have been my mothers, not just once, but for numberless times. They are as kind as my mothers of this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not want a small suffering, even a small suffering. However, due to engaging wrongly in objects of abandonment and objects of adoptions, they do not experience happiness even for a moment. They only experience suffering. In our minds, sincerely generate loving kindness towards all suffering mother sentient beings, thinking, all kind mother sentient beings, thinking. How nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings had excellent happiness. May all kind mother sentient beings have excellent happiness. I will cause all kind mother sentient beings to experience excellent happiness. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so. Next, we generate compassions towards all suffering mother sentient beings, thinking, how nice it would be if the bodies of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue, such as physical suffering, physical pain, sicknesses, and problems caused by 4 elements. May the bodies of all suffering mother sentient beings be free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue, or free the bodies of all suffering mother sentient beings from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so. How nice it would be if the minds of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue, mental suffering such as fear, and also coarse and subtle conceptual thoughts. May the minds of all suffering mother sentient beings be free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue, or free the minds of all suffering mother sentient beings from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue, Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
Vision, coordinate, vision, wonderment. One zero is emerging in the Chara, Kara, and Chiman, or Chicago, and which are the vision of the children of the soul. So this is
How nice it would be if the speech of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue. May the speech of all suffering mother sentient beings be free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue. I will free the speech of all suffering mother sentient beings from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
the pages, coordinate, vision, wonderment, host, each out, or give it to Kara, or Chicago, which are the vision of the children. So this is
How nice it would be if the three doors of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue. May the three doors of all suffering mother sentient beings be free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue. I will free the three doors of all suffering mother sentient beings from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
pages, the one is the country, together, the music, good at an achievement. John, more public, the shame of Lama, like him, like the same. This is
How nice it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. I will free all sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
pages, the one is in the to coordinate, the one that do Kusula, Yarana, but that he never not on the Sunday one. Neither the Nikosula, the Sunday, this is the condition of the Sunday component that you can make a total shower.
Next, we generate bodhicitta by first asking oneself, who should take on the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and of lower realms? I should take on the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and of lower realms. Even though I have the responsibility to do so, but I do not have the abilities to do so. But who has the ability? Those who have achieved the perfect, complete enlightenment have the abilities to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, achieve the state of enlightenment.
The 20 days Sunday combatto da show, sempre battere non in batteria giorno, non faceva più. Se la gente non dice ma dove tombare non se non ci vedo più tanto ci non si. Quindi batteria giorno che il progetto va a non faceva più su usato non faceva più suggests.
Next, we generate all-encompassing yoga mind, the aspiring conventional bodhicitta that thinks, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. These transform into a complete white mundis at one's heart. and the ultimate bodhicitta, that is one's mind becoming in one taste with emptiness, a lack of inherent existence, that transformed into a white five-pronged vajra on top of the moondips.
也就是要通过这个对基本开对刚才我这个容易这个它都关联了，就是当就是。
Next, we meditate on emptiness for a short while. That I exists neither intrinsically one with, nor intrinsically different from the aggregates. Thus, I do not exist intrinsically.
Quando di capo di scegliere così, uno sforzo di chi stava più bello facendo non è stato così. Però Tom da come sembra di un uomo machine, da ci sono una ne sa cosa, che va di che senti di che cosa da ne da dice da fatto di sa se oggi che va in a e giù per il resto del resto.
And as I always say, is whenever we form virtue with our three doors, it is very important to conjoin them with the practice of six perfections. Thus, the first one is generosity. Generosity is an intentions of giving. So these 2 hours of listening to Dharma, contemplations and meditations on Dharma are for the sake of purifying the sufferings of all sentient beings and achieving happiness for sentient beings.
第一就是我就就是那个，他讲的，共什么自己我什么东西，我的公司里面经验不是共的，里面给你经验不是这个的嘛，就要共赢完呢，那啥公司看，结果呢，另外是自己百姓拿的是不是？
Next is morality. Morality is a mind of abandonment. So during these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on Dharma, I will do so through abandoning my physical and verbal negativities.
第一就是我是随便哪里，随便是我的工作，这边什么是我什么东西，就是那个人那啥或是级别高是你现在刚一个就熊朋友的，没的，从这边谁突破几个人上，你突呢，那啥或是什么刚朋友呢，这我是随便个人是个人。
Next is patience. The nature of patience is an undisturbed mind. So during these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on Dharma, however much physical or mental hardships occur, I will be patient with it. I will accept it.
第一就是针对百姓，针对百姓娘的什么了？针对我的给我的对什么？针对我什么东西？也上公司结果了，被谁还在搞我的对头呢？
Next is joyous effort. Joyous effort is a mind that takes delight in virtue. So I will take delight in virtue of listening to Dharma, contemplation, and meditations on Dharma.
这就是我说上帝是保险人的什么了？上帝是我的谁给我把可能给了最基本的我是万东西。 那年上我是绝对不是，你小娃的了吧？是，可能年上我是结拜了，对谁的了吧？你都不接，那多的那样我怎么说？谁的呀？你都不呢？那个看到上帝不应该是没事。
Next is meditative stabilization. So meditative stabilization is a mind that single-pointedly focuses on any virtuous object. So during these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on Dharma, I will focus my mind on the intended virtuous object and do not get influenced by conceptual thoughts and distractions.
第一就是我是学了之后呢，学了农地就是个什么东西，我的了。那么是年上我是刚这个，也得细就毛了吧，也估计细头发就完了，我写了把现在是开始。
And last one is wisdom. Wisdom is a knower that thoroughly distinguishes phenomena. So I will properly understand the words and the meanings of the Dharma that I listen to, contemplate, and meditate on.
那第一就是学生就长期的上级去公告的话，第一阶段，别讲的你了解那边出去的，哪里这个今年升级了，平常都是啥都是跟我要继续。
Set a good motivation. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For these, I will listen to the commentary on the teachings, on the Lamrim teachings, and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
Olha, de tinha também inerente. Ama vardı, ama bir这基本上是我觉得，是吧？也那分手的，那地方的地是对吧？我之类的地是盲目学的，你是在让学在说，盲目的原因呢，我从去跟了年考虑的时候，真的考虑的力度高一些，你通的情况是，真的把你啊，盲目来盲目学习之外呢，那现在你嘛对吧？肯定有那点一些这些，那这个什么东那这里话，那是工作机会高了，那是主要的单呢，是嘛，被些老外呢，主要的单呢就老外呢，我在这边了。我在这边是多的可都被这个大点的，你等于是多的年的到了，多的年了，可能理解的是，那结果学习嘛，老板那都主要可都的，年底可都，这个可能是结果什么？
So regarding, before I start today's lessons, regarding the quiz, Lamrim quiz that I sent, I have sent out to you already. So in which there are 30, about 40 questions, 36 or 39 questions are there. So because I try my best to shorten the questions and also summarize answer for the questions as well. Summarize the question and also the answer, so that it's easier for us to to keep in our mind. Also, it's easier for us to memorize the answer and also the questions as well. Have a better understanding of those questions and answer. So, otherwise, if I were to make these questions too long or the answer is too extensive, then it's very difficult to understand those mentions to keep it in our mind. So. It's good to also the questions in the quiz. It's good that we can make a mark. Like for example, questions about perfection of generosity, for example. Then you just refer to your text. Then you make a mark there that or these questions, like for example, number 1. Then you make a mark in your text. Then saying that this is question number 1. So. When you read the question, when you read the quiz, and if you feel like getting more informations regarding that questions, then you can refer to the text that you have already marked on.
我对于设计基本上我可能我是我念的话，这个包括我在考虑的这个需要的时候，设计基本上马七把东西。平常我被他讲到的不大当然来说，就是南极不是做过的，不大当然做过你不出来看有些，南极说的这点就老对吧？呢 야 디 거다 줘야 돼. 그거 일단에 기본이 뭐 들은 거 같아. 그래서 디지털이 거다 줘야 돼. 신랑 얘기야.
Yeah, so I try to make the question and answer covers all the outlines. I try to ask questions and then also give the answers that covers all the outlines. So if we just read the book, usually when you just read the book, and then if you compare it to, you look at the question or you look at the quiz already, then you read the book again, then the understanding that you will gain is different from that. It's different from it's different from you just read the book only. So you have a better understanding. You also will keep it better in your mind as well by reading the questions and then also read the text.
그 뭐지 배전도 모두 기술 시대 배경이 도와 장자도 이제 되자 그래서 대상 가서 내가 전부 들어 그 무슨 그랬어. 뭐도 뭐 어디 고아는 도도 소자로 도와들이. 맞아 뭐지 비게 좋아도 마다네 주마다. 내가 맞아 메시지를 이게 서와. 맞아 뭐지 비게 고아도 장고 지어마다 무슨 비어 말. 무슨 소소 상업보다 큰 상업당 되와래. lead the but then I think then we try so at the end of the use Sarwa. There was no G. This is the major to actually do some on it. The Chebina, is what's here.
So if you do not have enough time, then it's good to read quizzes because it covers the answers. And then also I also give you the answer, it covers the questions, and also I also give you the answers already. So even in 3 great monasteries, so if they do not have enough time, then they will also read the questions only. So in monastery is different from us. So we already have the question and also the answer. In the monasteries, they only have questions. So by reading the questions, then they will read the book and then look for answer in the book. So if you think about, if you read quizzes, think about it, and then you have, if you study in this way, by reading the quizzes and then think about it, then definitely you will have a better understanding. Like for example, in Sarah, the questions they ask is very long, and then the answer definitely is very long as well. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 sheets of paper just to write the answers. If not, then one must, if not, then at least one must write like 2 or 3 pages of answer. So, however, we do not have much time, much time to study and also to sit for the answers, and also difficult for us to do so. So I try my best to summarize the question and also answer.
나라가 빨리 제사했어. 정확하게 이제 휴적으로 모두 이 빨리 휴지 정확히 휴지마지 와이나 양이 빨리 제시다 이거를 매겨놓은 것이. 이 빨리 제를 내가 빨리 제를 서리요 빨리 제고요. 좋아. 예, 굉장히다 거든. 그러나 뭐 진짜 번성만 저도 그래 참도 그때 아주 좋아 소단 걸때 소화기다 나오지는 빨리 휴지사로 와. 이 뒤에데 that's what it was. Nami Mataba. Instead of the two people shining
Yeah, so if you don't have time, then please read these quizzes. Then you have at least you understand something and you have something to keep in your mind as well. Because these quizzes, it takes effort. So I also put in effort to prepare these quizzes for you. That covers all the outlines in the text. And you should also put in effort to study it and to get to study and then to develop understanding about it as well. Otherwise, then my effort becomes like fruitless. So put in effort you do not study, then I'll say it doesn't serve much purpose of me preparing the quizzes for you. So not only I prepare, put in effort, then also it's effort to translate the question and answer. Also, Sally also helped. Sally also put in effort to to get these quizzes done together with Candy and Sally, Candy and Dr. Coles as well. So please do not just put these quizzes aside.
What is your college? What is the not only you chivo? The pressure song of the Mari. Lari in the Mambo's years. Go Mamma, that such a deep to the Latanda. What religion you do with the name, particular Mochivo is. What religion is the college in the Sorano. With the religion, which hung up for that church. For that church, the Chua to do that, late to do. That's in a window of what that church is belonging to the Church. What that church drama, but this is remote over the team, also of the Rama. But it's yours.
Yeah, so for me to prepare these quizzes, I say it's not that I only refer to Lamrim, Lamrim. I also refer to many other commentaries, and then to make sure that the answers that I provide, the questions that I make, and also the answers that I provide are correct. So it's not just that I read Lamrim, Lamrim, then I give you the summarized versions of those quizzes. So it takes a lot of time for me to read those texts as well. So I try my best to summarize and make those quizzes, make those question and answer as short as possible. However, that it is not possible to make all the question and all the answers as short as possible as well. Sometimes with explanations and etc. If no choice to make those question and answer longer so that you all have a better understanding, then I will do so.
You know, the door like later, because the later town or that such it in the mall or that gishi level way. But never to be not, never to know that it just do something never should have. Oh, at the later, come general red or something like that. Some of it, that in a native no good matua. Or delayed because or that lane because I do learn what should you. Never didn't read no sansachi. Why not?
So it is a sign that you have a better understanding, that you have a good understanding about what we have learned. Like for example, when you read the quizzes, you look at the question and then look at the answer that is already summarized. So then you can refer to text that, under this outline, or this question is related to this outline. So if I want to have a better, if I want to read more about it, or even if you, for example, if you want to write answer in an extensive manner, then it is on what is on the text that, or I can write if in summary version I can write this. If I want to elaborate it, then I can refer to the text and the answers. Then it means that you have a better understanding. That means you have good understanding about the text, about the lessons that we have learned.
Oh yeah, that the mother clear in that. But the social lessons in that the one of social lesson collection in lesson. That handle lesson. Any solo there, so there's so we are with the that the here is what.
So I'll continue with today's lesson, the practice of shamatha, how to train in shamatha. And this has 3 points, tending to the prerequisites of shamatha. Another way of saying this is relying on the conditions or prerequisites of shamatha, and how to cultivate shamatha in reliance upon them, and the measure for the accomplishment of shamatha through meditation.
What the Ganda, she loves to la Ganda, she needs so them that they that she need, she need to be checked. So, I was she needs to talk about here is she needs to talk about.
So out of these 3 outlines, the first outline that I'm going to talk about is attending to the prerequisites of shamatha, or relying on the prerequisites of shamatha.
Do the question, can be you than neighbor Stambo. The neighbor never chew. Simba cho shiba. Shiba shawma was upon. But sitting, number daba. To what the balance of the mountain was on the gate to them.
So this has 6 points or 6 conditions. So staying in a favorable location, having few desires, contentment, completely abandoning one's many activities, pure ethics, and completely eliminating one's conceptualization of desire.
Oh, this. What I'm going to do, Timmy, you know, the didn't answer, once in door. Timmy, you know, but the people say, guess so. Say maybe, say me the color, maybe a lawage, a law thing much. Jesus, so, Joe Musimba, dollars about the lady, and the money much. Maybe near so much. But they need a law.
So as regards staying in a favorable location, there are 5 divisions, the 5 excellent qualities of a location. So the first one is good access. In that, food, clothing, and so forth can be easily obtained or obtained without much hardship. And the second one is a good site. In that, predators and other wild beasts, as well as enemies and the like, do not live there.
That is all the Mamushi, the ship where we do. It's not what I tried to do. See, so that is not so I think it's really love you. We love you. It's not the member in a she need to have a pinch more. Keep the spot so say that it is not a member in a she need to have a contingent on your mother. The Mandos, he need to have a kind of at the time of the shame of what is saying. So it's not cynically that is what is not is less about it.
So it's easy to understand. For example, good access, then you can easily, a place where you can easily get food and clothing. So those are necessities. So nowadays it's not that big of a problem that we can, not that big of a problem to get food and clothing. So if this condition is not present, then it will be difficult for us to accomplish karma abiding.
Anybody can change it so you will see that I don't think Pachi. That is not that nearby. That's not the way to nearby. Don't sit this Kalekabo. So Kalekabo the Vinata, so with Mambape, the Ayoro. What happened there? I'm not a shaking member. And near some was what that change it so about you see what's up. Well, about the Kanda. Not a shaking member. Yes, missing a Mamma Maiba. At the least, it's not changing away or
And the second one is a good site. In that, predators and other wild beasts, as well as enemies and the like, do not live there. So, it's difficult for us to go to an isolated place to do meditations in order to accomplish karma abiding, right? So instead of going to an isolated place like this, then we can choose to stay in our own house. Comfortably, where there is no problem makers, and there is no enemies there, and and which is not noisy. So a place which is quiet, and such a good site is conducive for our accomplishments of karma abiding.
Sazon, limited saying the Sazon, the Sazon of the law. The Sazon of the such a travel of the Guru, the sad travel. And Nashili is a sad travel to Nishi Nashilas from the law. Is that the Nashili of Matrina? That the economy of that is the is a teaching of your since that is a teaching or Sazon.
And the third one is good ground. In that, it doesn't produce diseases. So mainly it talks about also whether we are okay with the ground and also the water that we drink. Yeah, so Chinese we say 水土不服. So basically, our body can cope with the environments or not, so with the grounds or not, where it doesn't make us sick drinking the water there or by living in that area. So and the main thing that we have to consider, one of the main things that we have to consider is also weather. So whether physically we can cope with the weather or not.
这东西呢，就啥停车吧，还是车忙下工作，我啥的停车吧。那龙宝开心了，就去的时候，人家去过呢，没试过了，我现在那个当，呀，可以从那边，呀，那是给把那样的，我那样的礼物多，去吧多，我礼忙不多，我在东京是停车吧就多是多，就是大几千我是当我的名字，因为在地上呀，去的时候得。
Yeah, so that includes the elements of water, earth, and etc. together with the weather. So, because some countries, like for example, if we were to go there and do practice, then when we drink, after we drink the water there, then it gives us diarrhea, or it makes give us knee pain or back pain and etc. So this is something that we have to be careful with. So and if talking about the cleanliness of the water, so to get the clean water, then nowadays then we can use a machine or some devices to make the waters clean, right?
我这是从到什么桌上么去生活，那桌上么这个时候的话就，你小娃都把那边，看到，快记得说吧就不桌上不说，你小娃从第二的话就你小娃都有哇，你小娃都把第二边，我看不嘛去，你开始边你小娃都把那个多少嘛地方，那边回来结果的，呀，那什么不结果的，那就是你小娃的嘛地方。만들 bal티세 야 가고 지야다 야 들리 좀 봐이나 그렇게 뭐 정보가 궁금한 말이나 내가 샤워 멤버지라 그 이거 치과 치장 샤워 멤버지라 가고 싶이 우리 레바이나 소소게 이 샤워도 말때 빠지 이건 또 상부 차우려 말이 쓰고 뭐 샤워 멤버라 진행적인다 제다 세모 위다 같은 집에 우리가 말하는데 너무 진행이 바이나 또 상부 차우려 말你多少么讲？这时候中年另外的判断的民法应该也是我，多少么大万定吧是呢？你小娃都把它大万定吧，必须都查过来，你小娃都把它大万定吧，所以大万定也是有的。
The next one is good company in that one has companions of equal ethics and views. So, you need companions who share the same ethics and also views. Like for example, if you want to accomplish a certain, if you want to practice, so then a good company for you must be someone who is diligent and etc. who share the same view as you. So, and you shouldn't choose someone, person who are lax and always sleep or relax and rest and take a lot of rest and etc. And a person who engage in many activities that is not in accord with those good practice that you want to do. And another way of saying this is, I said you need to stay with someone who share the same view and who also engage in the good practice as well. You shouldn't choose someone who engage in a lot of bad deeds and etc. So, like for example, gambling and etc. Otherwise, then there is a great danger that you will fall under the control of this bad company, and then it will affect your practice. So it becomes an obstacle to your practice.
多少不晓得，这个担心话题的，都说的，我们把进来不能结果样的东西，我多得力不来是我，当你那个嘛，对不对？那可能好可能，你我啥，现在前两天也是多，多的话。我们这个地方，我当然我现在教的，现在教的，你就不也是我是不是？我你要为了这说别说节目也是，是不是？我是不也是？这这当多，也是去多，有个当年把这个，但是当年这边呢，你是特别如果决定是我，我把今天把有个，那你送了就把呢，要不就是要不努力，送你把呢，要不也是。또今年把같이 요구하는 것이 들어와. 그래서 소소 딱年把就多吧이나 소소 강이 많이 나치디야. 다 토스가 나야 나보다 좀 이나 뭐 들어와. 근데 좀 미치더래 간다.
So this good company is someone that you are a bit you're a bit scared of. So you're a bit scared of this good company that that makes you not wanting to do any negative deeds. Like for example, if you think about if you have such a company, then you think that if I were to engage in these bad deeds, then if he or she knows about it, then he or she is not going to be happy about it. So you need someone that you're a bit scared of. So then so we need at least one companion. So we need at least one, especially if we were to go to an isolated place to do practice, then we need at least one companion, so that if there is any emergency, then there is someone to help us. So if you find more than one, like 2 or 3 companions, then the more the better. Who share the same views as you, then the more the better. And the fifth one is good attributes, in that during the day there are few people around, and at night there is little noise. So basically refers to the place which is quiet and not noisy. So we should avoid places where many people gathers, or we should avoid places where people sings and dance or do businesses or do tradings and etc. Because it will become an obstacle to our own practice, especially if we want to achieve calm abiding, and these will become an obstacles to our practice. Because when many people gathers, then naturally it becomes noisy, right? Many people start to talk to each other and etc. Then it becomes noisy. So we should choose a place where it's free from this noise, where it's not noisy. The next condition is having few desires, means not being excessively attached to good or numerous groups and so forth. So you shouldn't attach to those food and etc., food, clothing and etc. So also you should be contented. You should be content with whatever is enough, food, clothing and etc. So otherwise, if you were to have this mind thinking that I want to accumulate more, I want to collect more, then it becomes an attachment, then it becomes an obstacle to your practice. Next one is contentment, means always being content with merely adequate robes and the like. So this food and clothing. So when you ask needs of someone else, then whatever the person gave you, then you are happy with it and you are content with whatever things they give to you. And we shouldn't act like this when someone gives you things that you ask for, and then you say to the person, "Oh, can you give me something else? Can you give me another one instead of this? Instead of this, then can you give me another one? Or do you have other choices? Something like that." So we shouldn't do like that. So whatever things people give us, when we ask for it, like food, clothing, etc., then we are content with it. Whatever things they give us. And just like when Buddha went to ask, went for an alms, then wherever the benefactors gave Buddha, then Buddha was satisfied with it, was content with it. And completely abandoning one's many activities is to completely abandon inferior activities such as business, excessive socializing with lay or ordained people, one's medical practice, astrological calculations, and so forth. So when one wants to do practice, in this case, is to accomplish come abiding, right? So whether you are a lay person or whether you are an ordained person, for example, for lay people, then they shouldn't engage in doing business anymore. They shouldn't think about their business when they want to do a practice when they want to achieve a come abiding or want to stay in retreat in order to achieve come abiding. Then during the retreat, they shouldn't think about their business anymore. So they should even make promise to themselves that during this retreat, I'm not going to think about my business. I'm not going to interrupt anyone. I'm not going to interrupt my retreat with these businesses, thinking about businesses and etc. So yeah. So otherwise, if you were to think about these businesses, your works and etc., then it will definitely become an obstacle to your practice because your mind is not able to stay fully, not able to abide properly. So even if you're a doctor, for example, then if you during the retreat, if you were to treat many patients and etc., you will become an obstacles similar to even if you have you are a good astrologers or fortune teller, for example, then during the retreat you shouldn't do too much. You shouldn't engage in astrological calculations because it will become an obstacle to you as well. So, in general, when we talk about achieving karma abiding can be achieved in 6 months. So, when we want to do retreat, or when we want to do retreat to achieve karma abiding, then we must we must promise to ourselves that I'm not going to think about things other than this karma abiding, how to achieve karma abiding, etc. So if you want to do a 2 weeks retreat, for example, then we promise to ourselves that I'm not going to think about my business or my works and etc. So if during the retreat, then you make a lot of plans about your works, about your business. For example, on certain date I'm going to do business there at certain places. Then I want to do my business there or go there for work and etc. So you, instead of a retreat to achieve karma abiding, it becomes like a retreat to accomplish your business. Next one is pure ethics, means with regard to pratimoksha and bodhisattva vows, not damaging the basis of the trainings through natural or prescribed misdeeds, and even if it's damaged due to carelessness, it is quickly restored through regret in accordance with the Dharma. So this pure ethics, with regard to pratimoksha vows or bodhisattva vows or tantric vows, so and also the morality of abandoning 10 non-virtues. So whatever vows means that we have accepted, then we shouldn't do anything that transgress those vows or transgress those commitments. So otherwise, then it will become an obstacle to our retreat as well. So if due to carelessness or due to non-conscientiousness, then if there is any if we break our vows, for example, transgress our vows, then we should quickly regret it and confess it and also refrain from it. So we shouldn't just leave it. Once we break or transgress our vows, then we shouldn't just leave it like that. Then what we should do is quickly regret confess and also restrain from doing it again. And next one is completely eliminating one's conceptualizations of desire. So regarding these completely eliminating one's conceptualizations of desire, so you eliminate all conceptualizations of desire by meditating on its faults in these lives and also in future lives. And you also should think that these pleasant things of cycle existence, they are impermanent and they subject to disruptions. And definitely I will be separated from them before long. So why do I get overly attached and so on? So afflictions such as attachment to things, to those things like food, clothing, etc., thinking that I am not going to be separated from them. So if we have such attachment, then because of this attachment, then we will engage in all sorts of negativities that in order to acquire or obtain these clothing, food, and etc. So we should stop such stop afflictions such as attachments to those things that we desire. So by looking at them, by seeing them as faults, if I were to attach to those desirable things, then there is faults, the faults that will follow, faults that will experience in these lives and also in future lives as well. So we should see faults of attaching to those desirable things. And by thinking that these things that I desire, they are impermanent, and then they subject to disintegration or destructions. So by thinking so, and definitely I will sooner or later I will be separated from them. So by thinking in this way, you will stop your attachment to those desirable things. So Learn for the Path to Enlightenment by Lama Atisha says, even if you put in great effort for 1,000 years, concentration will not be complete if the limbs of shamatha are impaired or degenerated. So it means that if the conditions for completing shamatha are not present or are not complete, then even though you put in effort for 1,000 years in concentration, put in effort for 1,000 years, you will not be able to accomplish the concentrations. So this also, I'll say this is the answer for the questions Jaya asked in previous class, that if the conditions for calm abidings are not complete, can one accomplish the calm abiding or not? So again, this is the answer for your question.
那个经验人力淘宝呢，看到你淘宝那个心理去做，也算是做就送，对吧？全部的也是做就送的那个嘛，主办就他等他等个大对，你把我的也是那不是那的话，跟那个今年可能整个做的话，
是你有落来有晒上。
对，我嘛就了解的话，可能你上做就送的话，我的是那个接，对吧？我的地方就了解的话，
ดิฉันทำบนเล่าเองเลย
那我就了解。我就想的话，那就数码，立马就了解的话，就是看到因为就你的你的那老远的忙不强嘛，就是不是那个是吧？
So for those with the heartfelt desire to accomplish the concentration of shamatha and special insight, it is therefore essential to put effort into the 13 prerequisites and the light set forth in Shravaka levels. So these 13 prerequisites, and you can refer to the footnote number 112. Footnote number 112, and there lists the 13 prerequisites. So I will just read out the 13 prerequisites on page 435 if you have the text. So the chief prerequisites, which is the familiarity with the teaching and inner discipline, particularly excellence of one's own aims. That one, excellence of other aims. Fourth, desire for the teaching. Fifth, renunciation. 6, vows of ethical discipline. 7, restraint of the senses. 8, moderation in eating. Number 9, the practice of wakefulness. Number 10, dwelling vigilantly. Number 11, solitude. Number 12, the cleansing of obscurations. And number 13, proper basis of concentration. So these are the 13 prerequisites or conditions that one should put effort into.
这只是那个变得可以全部的也是那个速度啊，那个说他现在如果他现在的天气，说那个是嘛可能，反正说的他就被给全部的是吧？就是被给全部啊，这现在有的不要了，七八千多意思。对你到把人生你当你被八下去全部也不用觉得那啊，经济的强大嘛，看吧呢，什么大概可能，对，如果是干嘛的话。
So here it says that it's very important to put effort into these prerequisites or conducive conditions or the preliminary practices for one to accomplish calm abiding. So one should put effort into these prerequisites and conditions so that one can quickly achieve calm abiding. So it does make a big difference whether these prerequisites or conducive conditions are complete or not. So there are exceptions, like for example, those who have left a strong imprints of calm abiding in their concentrations in their mind stream, and then in this life, without the complete conditions, then they can achieve. It is possible for them to achieve calm abiding as well. So probably it's a difference in the durations of time it would take to accomplish calm abiding. So up to this point, it's like a preliminary practices that talks about the conditions that one should have or one should accomplish. So and then next we're going to talk about how to cultivate shamatha in reliance upon them, and this has 2 points: the preparation and the actual practice.
어디 가다 지워다 내시는 거 가다 지워들다 가다 조치다 경기세 유린 보고 이 연합다 지금 그거는 뭐 그치나 그장 가다 지부 중딩 거도 가다 지워마다 마다 잔로다 다 내려다 다 알아봐서다 다 zul라 간 주문이 나도 좋다 담보다 그래서 그러와 다 zul라 그래서 자주 생각도 없어 생각하고 정말 무슨 거 다 zul베 생각 그거 이분 다운다 뭐 와 어다 주의치는 다 스마다 젠더 주의치도다 난 이거서 말고
So the preparation, you should long cultivate the 6 preparatory practices explained above, as well as bodhicitta, and as part of that, also train in the core meditation topic shared with persons of lesser and medium capacity. So as a preparation, then you should meditate on the depth and impermanence, also the karmic cause and effect, engage in train in 3 trainings, the 3 trainings or 3 higher trainings, and then you should cultivate loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta as well.
뭐 미시를 말해니까 리지잖아도 그 시우가 와서 리지잖아다 대랑 리지잖아 가르쳐 들어와 리지잖아도 내가 그거구나 뭐를 좀 때문에 그 미시라 리지잖아 근데 좀 뭔가 가르칠 때는 머리를 맞서다 저는 아직 손으로
The actual practice, this has 2 points. The physical posture for meditations, so it talks about your sitting posture, and explanations of the stages of meditation. So the physical posture for meditations is mentioned in the stages of meditation.
어디 간다들이 뭐 한번에 기분 좋았어 봐. 그게 미니가라. 아무 정말 근디시 도리기를 제대로 해보려 해서. 그래도 예전에 시키기 전에 누구를 딱 간다시 그게나 그래서 그 대만이나 감바스 때나 그 대란다 메시지가 살고. 그래서 그 실업 정보다 들리게 되는 것도 그다음에 수수비야 감바소리야 간이 여바이나 소리야 시치구다야 감바데나 그 그다가 디아가 미세를 살고.
So, that's all. So according to stages of meditation, you should sit on a very soft and comfortable seat and adopt a physical posture with the following 8 characteristics, 8 points. 8 points. So the first one is the legs. So the legs may be fully crossed or half crossed. So when one starts a meditation, is for auspicious purpose. For auspicious purpose, or in order to get the blessing, then at the beginning of the meditation of your meditations, it's good to sit in fully crossed. Sit in the fully crossed positions posture, and then after that, then you can relax and sit in a half cross posture. So there's some people, like for example, have knee pain, and then knee pain, for example, then they are unable to sit in fully crossed for a long time. Then you sit in half cross posture, and then there are exceptions as well. Like for example, those who have leg pains and etc., they are unable to sit on the ground or sit on the cushions. Then they can sit on prayer, for example.
뭐 되지? 다가다. 방어도 지기세와 컴퓨터세와 들어가서 그냥 민다고들. 예. 노쇼는 시오리다 지도 조반 노쇼게 지도 조반의 시기습니다. 우리가 노쇼가서 미시오리. 조반의 시기습. 노쇼는 가서 지도 세비지도선 단다 지반다고 돼서 그냥 지도다 세비지도선보다 세비지도 노쇼는 계시었다. 그때다 밑에는 나만 내봐이나. 가서 안다와리스와 노쇼는 노쇼 계셔야돼서 간다 미다라. 이제도 지금
And so regarding this fully crossed or half crossed, and in the sutra system, when they use the word fully crossed or the half crossed, as you see on the text. However, in the tantra system, then they use different terms, like for example, a vajra posture or vajra cross, or the cross-leg are like a bodhisattvas. So even though they use different terms in different system, however, they means the same thing. They have the same meaning.
어디지? 다 간다. 가서 로지 주주들 그 담보 고만 와서지. 이게 대표님한테 대비tion 뭐 요랬을 때 이제라 스스로 대모도 바이나한테 안다 시지다. 그래서 바이나 다 그다 얘네가 쓰여서 와. 어디에서 네 와서 로지 주주 경우에 담보 뒤로 가라. 담보 예마다 나라샤. 담보 예마다 나라. 담보 예바데 실라. 그 스키도 고도 와. 지금 제가라. 담보 예마다 뭐지?
约骂了，约骂的我了，
我了，也把的，去了，
去了，
我去了，我结婚的时候，
扛了的我，去了，
再扛了我了，我就扛了，
Yeah, so if you can, then first sit in the Vajra, the fully cross or the Vajra cross. You can sit in the Vajra cross posture or fully crossed posture. So the different names, but they have the same meaning. So for auspicious purpose, then with your legs, with your left leg underneath, and then your right leg on top of your left leg. Yeah.
我等你说，
Or outside. So on top of or outside.
我等你，这刚把也嘛弄得起，那也把洗了洗，因为对嘛的那个，甚至于那是那个三年了，咱们自己的那是3年的年的来这一个年去了，
三年哦，
三年，所以你这个本来当东西，那等于说，
干巴的了，
我干巴自己，
我这么多，
我在这里做的，结果是的看到了，你准备呢？你看到你可能写上去的就是不多，
所以干巴冤巴的，
我也嘛多，
Yeah. So with your left leg inside, and then your right leg outside. So your left leg inside, and is almost touch your secret place or the secret place.
我这些，当然是都是就是我觉得，刚才看到网上吵架过的，都是就是嘛，都是就是钱呀嘛，那个把那没有认识，你把穷人，那都是就是第是，也但是我自己的，我那刚才之后的，早上钱要嘛的时候，我自己嘛怕累下过的，有时候个细节的，你个休息过的嘛，那样是你把穷人没有认识，我他妈点这些都起来了。
Jadi kalau di sang ni lah tu bah tunjuk yore yang ada tu bah Yeah, so your left leg touch the secret place. So if you sit in the fully cross posture, then if you start to have a pain or etc. gives you pain already, then you shouldn't insist to sit in this posture. So you should just relax and sit in the half cross posture. If not, then it will harm your concentration.
我就觉得根本给我了，你的好讲，是吧？你的好讲，写了这么的，那这点不是很多，那你的没事。
And the second point is the eyes are directed over the tip of the nose, neither too open nor too closed.
我讲的是你那这介绍的刚才学的大要嘛是，但是那说你修全部这么一那说，你等是呢，你希望的动来个地方有点什么可能嘛？你别这么一那，别是种，结果一那，希望的动来个，是那个把你来个应该有点是吧？你别这么一那。
So you shouldn't close your eyes totally. So if not, then because of also you close your eyes totally, then what you see is total darkness, right? Then there is a great danger that laxity and ignorance will arise.
你到底吧？你到底吧？你到底对吧？那这来我说，要被我把领的时候，我把大概他是，你现在被输，那时候他们那里痛苦是，你来痛的，给了那么多的来不的是，我给了那么多来了，你要把起来不的是，你到底吧？你个嘛的是，我觉得。
Then you also shouldn't open your eyes wide open. Then because there is a danger that excitement and the attachment will arise. Because when you open your eyes wide, and then you see forms, right? Then when you see forms, then conceptual thoughts will arise, and then this arising of conceptual thoughts will become obstacles to your concentration.
我的，我做米的那这个嘛，那不是的，那这个别修建的大要嘛的是吧？当然都，那这个别是谁的呀？哎，你这个米不了，那这个那个到是不重要嘛？你讲到米的嘛，那这个嘛，报不了什么，报不了什么，报不了什么，我的东西报不了呢，俺米嘛回来的，哎，挺希望啊，回来的。人我说对，俺这老说话的，可能查生了是最重要的嘛，对吧？那是我听不听的的。
Then your eyes are directed over the tip of your nose. So it's not asking you to, forcefully look at the tip of your nose. So otherwise, then it will affect your concentration as well. So by directing your eyes over the tip of your nose, or looking downwards at the tip of the angle of the tip of your nose, then it has a great has a purpose of doing so, such as sleepiness will not arise, and it also stops laxity, excitement, pride, and attachment from arising.
那的就说，那女的还讲结果在我那个丈夫上面，人家的些也是，女的吧，还讲怕，那叫做怕白那条门吧，叫做把那条门吧，是吧？那吃不够门吧，啊，丈夫那边的就也是，你点的点吧，给你看的，看的地图吧呢，你常嘛你看我的，咋掌握的，能掌握的，在墙上也我请我休息多的。
Then you should sit with your body straight and erect rather than too bent or crooked, and with your mindfulness placed inward. Then, you shouldn't sit, with a crook back and etc. Then lean backward or etc. So again, it has the great purpose of straightening your channels and winds and etc. So it brings a good effect to your concentration.
看我这女的怕也是都是怕摇摆呢，也是怕摇摆的呀，这个也是也说也是怕摇摆的，但你们学到的话都占了当的越说的话，越了，这学到都占当学到的占的，光学的话，这越是要影响很大，越是怕摇摆呢，那讲的学到，你们今天学到也是学到，一旦接个人家有的时候怕越是怕摇摆呢，我这里刚刚都我是。当然，我就是嘛，学的，之前方面的，基本的比学堂比学的话，这比几个地方就是是吧
？So if we do not sit straight, and if we were to lean to our right side, if our body is not straight, then if we lean to our right side, then because of the how the channels system works, then will give the effects of then the anger will start to arise. If you lean to your right side, then it will has a bad effect to cause anger to arise.
你讲到有的话都是摇摆呢，那对我说留下几个在的，有些我说，就是留下点不是，有些就也就有些行为，有些怕摇摆呢。
So again, due to the channel, the nerve system is the channel system. So if we were to lean to our left side, it will the attachment will arise.
那家的怕摇摆呢，家的你怕摇摆呢的，这你并没有联系我，对吧？这样的那个那么一回事。那是怕不喜欢的，你别叫了。那哪几个说的，这个我是包括我这些，要不都休息了的。我说哪里都说哎，我听不到我说你买的东西了，你打到好东西嘛，那是打不到。我听听俺这里有多。对，等下再打到我说这个听吧，那就主要跟他听吧，听有多的。
So, and if you were to lean backward, then there is a great danger that pride will arise. Right, pride will arise. Then you also kind of saying also important with those in our society, that if you see a person with great pride or who is very proud, then they also kind of like when they walk, for example, then they also kind of like leaning backwards, right?
어디가 다 민주요나 그 수비 제가 있지 이게 축구가 있나 이게 몇번 내려가고 인스타그램에 동물원에 지어야 돼 이거 저 뒤에 와서 하고 이래도 하시지 그 왜는 지저와 가서 나도 소노로 두스 대방 가서 저건 소도 된디 쇼에는 내다라 그러다 저 근데 얘네들 이 지금에서 되고 있어요.
Yeah, so if we were to bend our back and then like leaning back, leaning to the front, then there is a great danger that ignorance will arise. So this is also quite true, right? When we doze off or when we do fishing, then when we doze off, then we also kind of like leaning to the front, lean to the front, and then with a bang with a a bend. So if we were to do so, doze off or fishing in the monasteries, then we will get punishment.
어디지로 간다 간다 네가 지서 담았다 야예 가와 야예예예 잡디 간디 이거 봐이나 내가 지금 와 근데 지금 와 지금 와 아니 뭐 대답아 쓰는 제도 이래봐 삼보 니 삼보 가면 돼 그래서 봐 산지 그 산지데 삼보 잡을 해서 가도 야볼 잡을 해서
So we shouldn't sit leaning to our left or right or front or back. So or backwards. So because afflictions will arise respectively. So in order to purify these, in order to stop these afflictions from arising, then we should sit with our body straight.
이 삼보들이 릴레니 비자서 그래서 그래서 혹시 원래 그래서 이 삼보 대우이다 릴레니 비자서 삼보다 감부 슈드리 그래서
Yeah, so if we straighten our body, then the channels will be straightened as well.
딱 정보다 뜻이 야보 삼보 슈드 대우리 그래서 뜻을 이 무슨 여러와 눈에서도 배 삼보지 눈에서 나서 눈에서 와 자, 이제 와 이래서 와 또 뭐죠 눈으로 와 모르와 눈에서 와 자고 이래서
So with a straight channel, then the winds that travels in the channels, then it becomes serviceable.
눈내로 잡아이나 눈대나 신여와 신들레로 잡고 신레스로 신레스로 잡아이나 다시데 배 요와라 가고 보이나 저거 내가 잡으면 또 약간 신레로 잡아이나 눈내스로 잡아라 데라 저기 와 신들레로 잡고 레스로 잡아이나 신레로 잡아이나 얘간다 요와 여기 앞에 내가 잡아이나 또 나다 디그리스로 와
So when the winds becomes serviceable, the mind that travels on the wind also becomes serviceable. So with a serviceable mind, then we are able to employ, we can employ our mind to virtue, will.
와서 단다 예당대 너나决定的都是예당대 마발로서 나지 주당 거기 마발 거기 쉬고 들어와 그런 주야 시들이 뭐서 들서서 그냥 왜 나로 그래서 감이 연나 고 참아야 그거이나 감이 제가 참아 동바이나 마발로서 게르게 가지 당시 이것도 뭐 말했어 대단 지부 장사 고 감이 제가 대단시 이것도 말했어 그래서 딱 같이 뭐 시작돼 뭐 지우지요 있었다고
So Mapa Lotsawa, so he used to stay in this posture. So and he even say that in Tibet, so however many meditators, so when you combine all your meditation is not as good as mine. It's not as good as mine. So what Lotsawa Marpa trying to say is, as sitting in this posture, the blessings that one will receive is great. And he also has a great power. And next one is your shoulders should be straight and even.
저번에 제가 여보 샤워하는 거니까 근데 시무 시원도 못 받아서 뭐지 누가 요래서 와 습에 개체뭐 저번에 된 거죠 그런다고 그래 그래서 다그 하나 봐 그렇게 저번에 딱장 페이지 풀어 이거 와 그래서 나 내가 나시 저번에 가도
쇼바라고.
쇼바 쇼바도 포인트를 놓고 와 쇼그를 주는 거라 나 내가 나시 이게 저번 와 왜 난그래 저번에 가도 불러도 what people show up. But other Katumari, Tima, my Masara, she's on over. We are all
Yeah. So the Chava Mino, the Jimba de Alegre. Chava de Jimba.
Shimuka, Shima, the Mupaka, which is where it is Kaduchia.
Jimba.
Imagine the region was living on one level. She would do the top of my power. You might put it, you put it, she would live on other. The lead is my put it. The village which they were. Did that link though?
So your shoulders should be straight and even. So it's like if we relax and then we just lean on our back and then with our shoulders not even, then there is a danger that laxity and lethargy will arise. So it's just like when we're not sitting straight and just slumber in a sitting position. If we were to sit in a very slumber way, then it has the danger that laxity and lethargy will arise. So our shoulders should be straight and even, just like a vulture. So when he flies, then he flies with their wings even. So if one up and one down, then then we will instead of flying on the horizontal level, then they might even fall down. Fall to the ground, sorry. Yeah. So the head is held not too high nor too low and without tilting to one side. And you should keep yourself erect from the nose down to the navel. So your head is not too high or too low, and then your nose and your navel is in a straight line. So it's just like if you were to drop a small stone from the level of your nose, then it will hit the level of the navel.
Oh, did you that's what you do. That's all the children on both Thomas Shabos.
Yeah, then it will fall in a straight lines as it accords with the navel. Yeah. So the next one is the teeth and lips should remain natural, just as they are.
So the children about the so children. That's all the children. I think as a boy, the shooting bullshit, Thomas Gomeva, shooting down the Maiba. Yeah, so the chip cut down the amazing. Then what the Shima cut the particular Shima, Dambaina, Dambaina, was a look at the and all the combo channel, or the cut down amazing. That called Najis was a country, shower as a haro, Shanwich. The shooting amazing.
So the teeth and lips should remain natural, which is not forceful, so it's just as they are. So you shouldn't clench your teeth nor open your mouth wide, because if you were to open your mouth wide, then because of the winds, then you will make your throat dry, and then you will even flex your concentration as well.
But Jenny, I see to the shot and other Jenny, I think they are Java. You don't go back to Mushore.
Again, the Yaso,
Maria.
你等下那亚洲来的，Lamrim 顶过那的亚洲，
亚洲的那个是亚洲的朋友，是我啦。 是呀，回来就是也说了一下，等等，
那时候，
这里要讲的，这个是五百马干呀的，
嗯
不去马赛呀的，这个五百去马说的，
嗯
我的接的嘛，这地方呢，五百干呀的，去啥呀？看去啥的那是，你来说，
借的可能记录了，
接呀给了，不要马下吧？呢，
哦，
接的马过吧？呢，
嗯
我马的生活多，
嗯
马啥物的是，去。
So the tongue should be placed near the upper teeth or upper palate. So I'll say, if you do not place your tongue in this way, then I'll say the saliva might how say flow out. How say saliva might be too much, and then it's start to flow out from your mouth.
必须。
嗯，
你那个哪个你对吧？喇叭是对吧？
哎，喇叭米
对的。
喇叭米
刚把喇叭听把是讲了下了。你不能确实呢，反正有对吧？
米多，
他怎么继续对吧？他那是当然去对吧？哪怕你讲不讲，哪怕你讲下天王你第一天的，做下来那都对外哟，对外开出来对吧？天王你对吧？天王你第一天的都是这样的，也讲到머리인지 지민지도 모르겠 다들 제가 저기 봐. 머리 아шу 그냥 머리에 지민지처럼 동안이 그 때와 그냥
조림
조림을 마시고
비민가시
머리 뭐 지민가지 이게 민지도 그래 이게 좋아 좋아져
루민바치요.
지민가시 뭐지 지민지는 그다 지민가시가 동안이 이 태도 때와 태도다 때와 태도 자네 머리 지민는 게 너무 해서 나봐 이해받아 강아지 이해받아 원하지 보세요. 이해 강아지야 이해받아 원하지.
So here it doesn't talk about your hands, right? So your hands is in the meditative equipoise posture with your right palm put on top of your left palms and the tip of your thumbs touching each other, and then place at the level of your navel. And then it has the significance of ripening your mind streams for the in the completion stage.
那天文的都是做教的，不是的，不是刚刚读过的，不是，设计。我们肯定只是去天文去，就是天文的这一家的不是天文的东西是吧？不是去天文的，看到的我就是叫老板你把我去天文做一下，就是不是他去天文，那么意思不认识。
So when you place your right palm on top of your left palms and the two thumbs touching each other, then naturally it forms a triangle shape.
我放在一笔天文的他全地生成的，一笔天文的他全地生，一笔天文也把天文给他全地生的，也把东西做，真的，不这么说的。他写的呢，他就生的，他是亚麻的，他是亚麻的生这个样子呢，有的就是说，他就生这个样子。我都是吃完是吧？第二的嘛，都不就是什么来着
？So these two thumbs are touching each other. So the right thumb represents the method side, which is bodhicitta, and then the left thumb represents wisdom. So these two thumbs touching each other represents the union of method and wisdom.
就是那这不过只是讲吧，不过只是的，我是弄到过去这样子这个许多，弄到过去有。弄到过去，可是现在你们就知道了，弄到过去，
弄到过去，
对的，
弄到过去，
弄到过去，
弄到过去，弄到过去，弄到过去，弄到过去，弄到过去，还是你听运动？弄到过去。好卡里口，南塔果松，
那过去哇，
南塔果松，OK，OK，第个，OK，南塔果松的，南塔果松is liberations, yeah, and then this follow, how say in a triangle shape, then it represents the three gates of liberations. So when we study Perfection and Wisdom Sutra, then we talks about the three gates of liberation. So these triangles hollow that represents the three gates of liberation.
Oh, that is the advantage.
So this triangle or hollow represents the three gates or three doors to liberation, or three doors of liberation. So then when you're you sit with your body straight. So just now when I talk about this, sit with your body straight, then your spine. So your spine should be straight, like a pile of coins. So when you pile up put coins on top of each other, then you put it in a very straight line, not tilting, not leaning towards the left side or right side. So you put it in a straight line. So your spine must be straight like a pile of coins. Then as for the breath, your exhalations and inhalations should not be audible, so it should not be noisy, and then forceful or uncontrolled. So when you breathe, then you should breathe in a very relaxed way and slow. So with this breathing, then it makes 8 points of meditative process of Vairocana. So, and regarding this breathing, your exhalations and inhalations, I will explain about it in coming class. So I will stop here and if you have any questions, then you can ask now.
Sheila, can I ask a question? Okay. Can I check how important it is for us to be a vegetarian and avoid black food, and intoxicant, of course, for us to prepare to start the actual meditation session? I'm talking about post, post.
Post what?
Post meditation. How important it is, not actual session, but how important is it for us to be a vegetarian, avoid black food, and of course avoid intoxicant as well, smoking, drinking, and all that. Thank you, Dishma.
跟你講做啲捐儀節啦，咁其實啲公未夾啦，你啲公未夾啦買嘛，你啲其實啲地捐儀夾數，馬數啲其實啲加馬沙啊，跟你啲其實啲可能南部啲有咯，跟那些那國巴當中啲都，跟你啲馬沙啊當。那样枪马动啊，跟他恰恰的枪马动啊的位呢？你连做那样他说的连做的马啥吧，跟他给切了个最有的是，给切不有那是。
我是估计那个枪马做的，下的这个人给全部人打分的。
下点做呀。
下马赛，这个是这个吃完了牛肉啊。 是梦见的去度啊，
你主要啦，的misi sini主要啦，
心里主要了就是评委了哇，心里主要的嘛，他被后现在念的啥，我这被他我说我把西班牙他上去过了，说把这里的被没事上当委了哇，其他就是被像马赛的，就是给全部的长途那都真不这个嘛了哇，你心里主要我长途那都今天早点主嘛是那这个他把西。我也早点要嘛是这个长途呢，我长途那个真不
你这人masih吧，orang masih吧，对你别成
把这他的马下把它过了，长途些东西心里主要但早点都是不着急的，是吧？是吧？啊，看了那部是话，昨天我的第四场没有丢，那就被你拿不有了，你的拿不有的，对嘛？拿不有的就是但是他那就被球啊，底下那不是没有丢的。
balik nampu ini di ko pa chung de hoi na
是的，所以我这个哪里长大了，做的，我把这个地是没有的谁的，是讲的，那去全部看不出来，我是搞什么？高手就他说的西藏口头马是我吧？这个如果今天是高手他有嘛，那只西藏口头马来是我口头嘛，这是对其他，这是别的，看是高手的吧？我在这个情况底下有没有这个人呢？这是第一次找没有这个人，当时现在是吧？他看了那部写完的，就是中大国把写完的，就是的。
di kazan di shamo de ji yo lo ye
在下的长不是那个
shamo
是的长这个对吧？是的第一次找的这个人，完了上这个问题是吧？那等于初个当大都要等你第几个对吧？初个当的也等你是经验不多呀，初个是俺说那写几点给我的，看到就是找不到有了吧？看到他的刘老师把等你来背，俺说也伢说到马车把等你马不有了吧？我在这里的初个我这个切个全部多。他我是觉得我是公结尾的，是那个时代的另外有那这个是吧
yeah so during post meditations then I think how say vegetarians and alcohol how to stop drinking alcohol for example intoxicants then is good because how say by eating vegetarian and etc. One accumulate merits also right because of not harming other sentient beings so one accumulate merits and these accumulations of merits also helps one's meditation as well so that is also one of the reasons why we choose Buddha an image as the object of observations so that through observing the image then one accumulate merit this in turn will helps our meditation as well so regarding black food like how say garlic, onion, and etc. So this one, in my opinions, I think it is okay. So I also heard about some explanations about this, like those very pungent, those food with pungent smell, like onion and garlic. Then those deities from the white sides, they don't like they don't like those pungent smell because they emphasize a lot of the cleanliness, right? So they emphasize on cleanliness a lot. So they are unable to circle around the meditators or practitioners. So and there are rituals that is related to, like for example, the action yoga, action tantra. So they are rituals. They are related to action tantra. Then it's good that one should avoid black food because, for example, the rituals that involves the gods or their gods, and also Naga beings, then they don't like the smell as well.
我的特别是嘛，都哪里的这公鸡，起来我是爬到那不是，就是我是到地下边呢，也嘛那不是话的，我是把你那不，
一样有啦，啲国民睇啦，那不是的，
爬到那不就
马死
那不有啥的，爬到那不是这里有了，是的你觉得两个一多嘛，是但是国外人呢，他是国外人呢，你就知道啊，哎呀，没事，从个搬了，不是样的大波的，就是那么的样地是有啥的，我不说了呀，你嘛的，这地是的，这地是你是老外有病，
谁拿波的，
谁拿波啥的，那是国外可以有啊，那我是被不当我说。把哪里跟两年前的别公结结婚的，这的我是被谁的说那个 답에 신진의 체험만 이것도 이제 해줘라도 기다 내가 연락 주고 가서 기다 가서 내 나보다 때만 나버서 와서 사만 한다. 그래서 이제 미세게 까지로 와. 까지로 와. 마시니 때 말았어. 이제 사답에 잡을 지 들어와.
So, in general, when in general, I don't think avoiding black food would make much difference in one's meditations. Like for example, meditations on Lamrim. It wouldn't make much difference in one's Lamrim meditations. Like for example, avoiding those black food, and that also includes black rice or black beans, for example. So they are not they are not meat, yeah. So they are not meat or red, right? Yeah, they are not meat. So they are gases at the end of the shamin bar. Yeah, so they are they are vegetarian food. So I don't think black food would make much difference in one's Lamrim meditations, in my opinion. Thank you.
Sheila Pipin here. Can I ask a question on the 13 prerequisite, and the number 3 is excellence of others' aim. Just wonder for what's the prerequisite is for oneself. The excellence of others' aim means what?
So just some the yoro again. Just some the yoro. Any somebody because shengi 고발을 shengi 고발이 간다라고 얘기하나 excellent 유연하게 봐.
어들 이제는 뭐 그때. 그래서 이제 걸러서
그래서 shengi 고발 shengi 고배 초에 이제 유연하고 막 그나이디 옛날에 가리리스 핑계 숨바디. 하면 돼. 쟁기, 현황 대화 요바. 알았어. 때 초주숨 그러기죠. 진짜 나로라는 거죠.
저도 진입 처음으로 그냥 비슷하고 그랬습니다. 너무 스포츠. 배셔지 연애 배셔지 라마스 가지.
맞아.
제일다고 들어.
So you're asking what is the meaning of excellence of others' aims, right?
The others are related to oneself. This number 3 related to like others.
So so regarding this, Kishla will read about it, and then Kishla will explain it in class.
Thanks.
Yeah. 그래서 교수님들이나 이 현장에 소소한 대화요래. 근데 숨바데 근데 현장 대화요 봐.
야야, 당연히 제일다고 들어.
Yeah. So Kishla will he will read about he will find it and then give us an explanation.
Thank you, Gisela.
Ken, earlier on when Gisela said when we meditate, if we close our eyes, I cannot hear well. The great danger of laxity and something will arise. What was that thing? Laxity and lethargy. Is it
so the me to make out any young because the jingwatang the mupatelero.
미츠비 가서데 를 현다 레벨을 가서 미츠제나 마보다 몸부터 시작했어. 가서 미셔던 들이는가 나와는 력도
마보당
몸부터 제일 담을 샤워. 전부 총대 위나 맞아 들이 나와다면 레벨스. 어디요 치고서 무슨 마음도 쓰지. 시간도 이해지와. 그래서 나중에 나가서 되잖아. 미츠나 시대 니 마보다 미츠나 가시는 니 코도 와. 나 때문에 그거는 스트레스.
무바로.
근데 가서 미츠는 약대 마보다보다 세보다 때 뭔가 사실들이 나보다 너무 쉽게 그랬어. 미츠마이나.
Yeah. So laxity and lethargy. So laxity and lethargy will arise. So other than that, if we were to close our eyes I say sometimes then you will see some appearance in red colors or in blue colors, right? And so those those appearance will appear when we close our eyes, totally close our eyes.
你喜欢的跟你一样的话，我的那个是那一个他们。
Lethargy, sleepiness, laxity and sleepiness definitely will arise when you close your eyes. Yeah. Sometimes then we feel like we cannot. Yeah. So sometimes then it's not a time to sleep. Then even during the daytime, sometimes you close your eyes for some time, then you fall asleep, right?
Thank you. Let's just stop here. Thank you. The question very. Thank you. Yeah. Someone who have to do this. 我都得第一章的那个节点把这个东西的，就是讲我全部全部都经济他们少数方的事情，点把的东西就这一这把的手工的点把上，他等到放在年了个把年都要上，等这里面就要看到，另外是那把的马路的年啊，你没有啊，给咱们知道，你把娘的如果娘的不知道，那把的没晓得的，看到跟住跟普朗斯罗把今天看到吧。第一章的那个，当时什么把油条的，70年的必须的把油啊，我在这里吃的吧，我还记得，很好吧都，就是那个什么什么去，我们上面有的呢，大家点把它弄一点的，养生这么一点呢，我就拿些的呢，我就去那些去过的去学就立把吃的吧，别这么样子。
We conclude with dedications. We dedicate the roots of virtue that we accumulate, especially through these Dharma lessons. May it be the complete cause for the Buddha Dharma to flourish in all 10 directions, and for all sentient beings to experience excellent happiness in general. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to all upholders of Buddha's teachings, mainly His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to live eons long with excellent health, patience, and may the enlightened activities and holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously and spread in all 10 directions. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to the world peace, and may the world may excellent happiness prevail in the world, and may those natural disaster, wars, conflict, pandemic, etc., are totally be totally purified and quickly be purified. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to those who pass away and to those who are in suffering and those who suffer. So may they quickly be freed from their sufferings, and may their negativities be quickly pacified and quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to those who help others, like for example, those doctors, nurses, and those who help others financially, and may in dependence on the virtues that they collect, and may their life be filled with, may they live long and good health, may their life be filled with excellent happiness and quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. In particular, we dedicate these roots of virtue to our beloved teacher, Lama. May the holy wishes of Rinpoche be accomplished instantaneously, and the unmistaken reincarnations of Rinpoche be swiftly returned, and continue to turn the wheel of Dharma for the sake of teachings and sentient beings, so that we will have the opportunity to continue to receive teachings from Rinpoche again. Jesu Dalo Jeki Wadida Dang Cherado Mo Tongi Tawa Rimbo Jema Kepa Ki Gyuji Kepa Nyama Meba Kote Koto Pewa Shu Rimi Tawa Rimbo Jema Kepa Ki Gyuji Kepa Nyama Meba Kote Koto Pewa Shu Jesu Dojo Belang Chiche Sese Kanche Tenu Gunchana Pemo Tensing Gasola So Teso Shedu Rudo Shu Kante Pene Maluba Kale Joe Same Ishino Kante Sume Tensing Gasola So Teso Rinpoche Shedang Trube Ziche Pe Wala Na Yami Susu Pe Koja Jetsu Pe Jetsu Lama Sowa De Jowe Kiwe Tenda Ma Kyu Jowa Yi Deva Tito Tsemba Sebe Modo Shiwa Shide Ire Pang Weda Chusun Yatsu Chin Lao Dang Tse Na Ke Tu Ke La Po Che Lu Me Tempe Nyang Tu Sa Pe Zum Ke Sang Tu Che Pe Tu Nyu She Su Kwe Kwe Shing Gang De Pen Tang De Wa Ma Lu Jung We Ne Jere Se Wa Den Zing Yatsu Ye Sha Pe Si Te Pa Tu Ten Glu Chi
Thank you.
Thank you, Gisela. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gisela, Ken, Joe.
You can.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Gisela.
Ken.
Sheila.
Thank you, Gisela. Thank you, Ken. Thank you all.
Sheila, thank you, Ken.
Okay, everyone.
Yeah, Gisela say enjoy dinner.
Enjoy dinner.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sheila. Bye.